We're going back to the Kalos region, so today let's take a look at all of the mythical Pokemon introduced in Pokemon X and Y and see how they are related, not only to the Kalos region, but also Mega Evolution as a whole, and the Mega Evolution lore that was introduced in those games. And through this conversation, we also find a couple other mythical Pokemon that have ties to Kalos. So we're going to be covering all this today. Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
We're going back to Kalos, guys. I think what's really interesting, I'm old enough to remember these mythical Pokemon from X and Y. I remember the day I was doing like yard work at my parents' house. I had my iPod Touch in my pocket or whatever.
12 years ago.
and I remember when there was like when X and Y were data mined and Volcanion, Hoopa, and Diancie were scraped from the data, and people were like, oh, even Eternal Flower Floette. I forgot about that going into this, but like low key, that is kind of a mythical Pokemon.
Hopefully we get, I think we'll get clarity on that soon, you know?
Some clarity.
So those were scraped from the data, and I remember we were all just like, we were left to our own devices to make theories and try to explain how we would actually see these Pokemon. And when we did finally see these Pokemon, Generation 6 kind of marked the kind of a downtrend of how mythical Pokemon would be introduced and distributed going forward, really over the last, over 10 years. That is, we get a mystery gift, we get the Pokemon, and that's pretty much it. So I thought it'd be really great. And Lumi, you kind of spearheaded this conversation today, but to go through these mythical Pokemon, and it's not just these three, there are a couple other ones, mythical Pokemon in general, that are related to Kalos, the lore of the region, their ties to Mega Evolution. And I think it'd be fun to explore and theorize how these Pokemon might actually be reintroduced into the series in a more tangible way. Like I think about how Deoxys was brought, and kind of like, Deoxys is still a mythical Pokemon, but in the Generation 3 remakes, right, in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, that's the first time a mythical Pokemon was made to be catchable through normal gameplay, right? And there's a whole story there tying it to Rayquaza. There's cutscenes, right? That was so cool, and the trend continued in Sword and Shield. The trend continued, I guess, in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But what's standing out in my mind is Legends Arceus, right, where you could literally find Shaman in its natural habitat. You could fight Heatmore, right? And some of these Pokemon are not, Heatmore is not a mythical Pokemon, but these are legendaries that typically would be
Heatran too, by the way.
What is it?
Heatran, not Heatmore, but yeah.
Oh, did I say Heatmore?
Yeah, it's the same.
All the time.
Same difference. I know the
Anteater Pokemon. Yeah, no, great catch. But
I didn't even catch it because it just
it just went right over my head.
It took me a second actually to register.
Yeah. So. But there's so I think what's so cool about Legends Arceus is that was the first time where it felt like all of these legendary Pokemon that I did not, as a player, have a personal connection with. I was able to make that connection through gameplay, right? And so, I think, listen, it's a good time. We're going to look at these Pokemon, but that's what I'm going to be thinking about today. I'm going to be thinking about like how we can encounter and fight Volcanion, etc. What are you guys thinking? What's on your mind?
I mean, the biggest thing also is the Scarlet and Violet one, the Petulant one. That's like a whole story. So if you applied that to one of these, that would be pretty epic.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
The thing I always think about is Legends Arceus, did give storylines for each of the mythicals. Obviously Arceus was front and center of the game, but then Shaman, Darkrai, and Manaphy got their own stories, and so that's.
I feel like stories is a bit strong, though. You think storyline? I feel like Petulant is a storyline.
Look. In comparison to the three Kalos mythicals, which we're about to talk about, it's a story. Because that's the thing, right? Is that for the longest time now, we've been just handed these Pokemon with no explanation whatsoever. It's just literally like a guy and a Pokemon. It's like, you had a Volcanion, right? Here's a Volcanion. Don't worry about it. You know?
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? This thing can destroy.
Oh, you just handed me like a minor deity. Thank you. You know?
Here's this really rare beast. No one even knows about it, but here you go.
Right.
This person literally says, this is an Oraz. They say, hot diggity. That's a Volcanion you have there, isn't it? Like, what? Who is this man?
Well, that's the thing,
X and
too,
Y,
is they didn't really, like, promote... Because what that is X and Y and Oris both had this. If you brought Volcanion to in X and Y, it was if you brought him to Alexa, it would activate this like little thing where you could learn about some encounters with Volcanion in the Kalos region. And then if you brought him to this guy in Hoenn at like a TV station, he would let you see these on-aired videos of Brandon, the Pyramid King from the Battle Frontier, hunting Volcanion across these different regions.
Well, that's cool.
You don't know about this because Pokemon didn't like even tell you, hey, maybe take your Volcanion. Like this was like nothing, and it's
but
why
I don't mind that though, because it's like you have to explore it and find it out yourself. That's super cool, actually.
I guess I can see the appeal of that. It just would be nice if they pointed it to you, like they kind of said, like, hey, you know, there might be something to do with Volcanion at the TV station, or even less narrow than that, like. You know, I heard that there was once a Volcanion show that was supposed to air on TV, and that's it. And then, like, you can maybe piece together, like, a Volcanion show on TV? Yeah. Let me go to the Hoenn radio or TV station and see what that was about.
You know what's nuts? When I learned about Volcanion in the data mine of X and Y, I was so excited, not because of the design, but because it was the first Pokemon that was fire and water type. That is so iconic.
As of right now, it's the only one.
It's the only one.
Like, it's Ludicolo could be cooler. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. It is the only one. I was thinking Ogerpon. There's a grass and a fire type and a grass and a water type. But you're right.
No grass here.
So it's like this mythical Pokemon also introduced such a cool typing, like, and we're just not able to harness it, right? Like, and I get it. Like I think what makes these Pokemon rare over a decade, over 20 years, you know, or Mew, right, over 30 years, is that they are difficult to obtain, right? I get it. It's like once you get it, it's supposed to be rare. If it's not rare, then it's any other Pokemon. But I do think they can do something where these Pokemon are rare, but you know, there still is like a playable experience, you know? Yeah.
While we're at it, Volcanion is underrated. I really like its design.
While we're here, with Dusty, where like
it's like
the typing was really exciting to me, but I've never really been able to get too behind the design. It's fine.
It's been a recent development for me. Like I never liked it before, but recently I've been like, this is cool. This is actually really cool.
Soul-coded. It's very pointy in a lot of like places, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun. I feel like it's difficult for me to like get on board. It's a weird Pokemon. I'm like, but
it's definitely weird.
Just give me a reason to I don't know. I'm like, it could be sick. If I have to fight this thing and it's memorable and I have to capture it and then I get to use it on my team. I gotta be honest, like I don't typically care for a lot of legendaries because they don't end up on my team. But over the last 3 years using Chien-Pao, like that is a staple member of my Scarlet and Violet playthrough because I got it and I'm still using it on my team to this day. It's level 100. Like I love Chien-Pao now. If there's a game where I can get Volcanion and I can use it, like I don't know, like I could love it. I could love these Pokemon.
So
I
Dusty Chien-Pao now incoming, maybe.
Yeah,
Chien-Pao now.
What is that? Chien-Pao
I don't know. It's just like your new name. Let's get a Chien-Pao channel going.
That's when Dusty one day becomes a big old podcaster and abandons Soul and he's gonna start a podcast called Chien-Pao Now.
Chien-Pao Now.
Chien-Pao Now.
It's a good name.
Now, with Volcanion, so the interesting thing is if we're like talking about the idea of how these Pokemon could appear in a future story or even in a future game, because I do think there's also like the fact that, you know, we've had a Legends game dedicated to a mythical Pokemon, Legends Arceus. Perhaps one day we could have a Legends game dedicated to one of these guys. But something interesting about Volcanion is that, first off, Like I mentioned, if you go to the TV station, the home region, you get to see these unaired things from Brandon. And by see, I mean read. And Brandon talks about how Volcanion was in the Johto. I want to make sure I get this right, so I'm reading it. Johto, Kalos, and Sinnoh regions was where it had been spotted. So that's just kind of interesting too, because obviously you think of it with Kalos, because it's Kalos Mythical, but Johto and Sinnoh. Johto especially interests me, because Sinnoh, it has the volcano, so I think that there's a connection you can make there, but it's like, what's Volcanion doing in Johto?
That is super interesting. Could we possibly see it?
Could there be a relation?
Right. Yeah.
Like it creates steam, but like could it have some sort of relation to like Entei with the volcanoes? You know?
I mean,
it is called Volcanion, and its back looks like I think it does.
There's not a volcano at least in game in the Johto region, though.
Yeah, but if
that's
like
the strange thing,
we can make it make sense.
Like
there could be a volcano like
instead of Johto.
But there could be
Kalos, Sinnoh, and Johto.
Well, here's the thing: there is a volcano. There's a what is it? Cinnabar Island. There was a volcano.
That's Kanto, though. He said Johto.
Yeah, I know, but my point is like there could be
that is a difference.
That is a volcano. There could be another volcano like underneath Mount Silver, or there could be a volcano like
Mount Silver probably is a volcano because Mount Fuji is a volcano, and that's what it's based on.
There it is.
So there you go.
Yeah. All right, let's get back on track.
Yeah. Let's get back because I was about to start speculating on a Johto game that has Volcanion as the main character, and then secretly we find out that Mount Silver's a volcano and that it's about to erupt and all this stuff is about to happen. So
and bro, that would be kind of fitting. That would be kind of fitting if like, right, Mount Silver is depicted as this like super frigid. It's like this tall mountain, right? It's got this cold climate because of the elevation, but that is the exact opposite of a volcano. So like right now it's in a dormant state, but if the Mount Silver, if Mount Silver is a volcano and it starts to erupt, the entire terrain transforms, which I think is pretty dramatic. Like for a gameplay sequence in a story, that's super dramatic.
It's like stop the volcano.
Yeah.
Isn't Volcanion like really supposed to be like a geyser though? You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
From what I can find, it's supposed to have like some relationship to geysers, to steam engines, also to lions.
Yes, it's definitely a lion.
Volcanion, you're getting lion, and that also kind of is how it connects to Kalos, because Kalos France doesn't have any like super overt connections to geysers or steam engines, but you do have with the lion that's like always on the crest of. I think that's. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's even the France national animal.
A lion? I don't know about that.
No, you're right. It's not the lion. It's something else. But it is like on the
lions
on an old flag.
So let's get back on track again. So the outline for this podcast, we've got Diancie, Hoopa, and Volcanion. These are literally the mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation 6, and they all have a different thing, right? Diancie has a Mega form. Hoopa has a second form that we do see more of in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. There are Hoopa rings, and then Volcanion is just kind of a mystery. I do think also, I don't know if this is on your list, Lumi, but I do think it might be worth.
I do have Magearna. Yes, that's for later.
Good. Yeah,
okay, Magearna. But I was going to say Eternal Flower Floette. We are going to see that in Legends ZA, and I don't know. That really does feel like it is. It's not a mythical Pokemon, but it is a unobtainable Pokemon form that is as powerful, I think, as a mythical Pokemon. I don't know if
we have to wait and see because we don't really know.
but it fits the description, right? It's like it's like a little fairy, right? So I feel like it fits the description, at least visually. We got Magearna. I think we're also going to talk about Keldeo today. And Victini.
Yes, Victini. That's and then also. Right. A surprise tool that'll help us later. Someone got the reference. A beta Pokemon that was actually scrapped from X and Y.
Oh yes, that's fun. Okay.
What we lost.
So let's Lumi, you have all these notes.
Yes.
Let's walk us through this. Where are we starting?
We're on Volcanion, so I say if you guys are good with it, let's keep on trucking with him.
Yeah.
So something interesting that this kind of goes into some cool stuff that we learned about X and Y from the Terra leak. We've talked about a ton on the podcast, but basically, there was this scrapped game for Kalos. It was at one point called X2Y2. At one point it was called Pokemon Z. Not sure where they landed on it before they scrapped it. But that X2Y2 suggests to me that it was likely a sequel to X and Y. And one thing we found from this was that there was a map that was made for this scrap game. And that map allowed us to explore South Kalos. And this is also something, too, that we'll talk about with another mythical Pokemon. But interestingly, I did not know this until I was doing research for this particular video, but Volcanion has a lot of connections to South Kalos, specifically in Lumio City. When you are able to kind of get access to Alexa's notes on Volcanion, what it says is that there is in South Kalos, Volcanion is revered there. So it is like treated as like almost like a god, you know?
It's the god of South Kalos.
Right. It's like a Legends Volcanion would be South Kalos.
Stop it. I don't even want to know.
And then it even says that there was a mountain range that disappeared after a big explosion in South Kalos. And they often kind of are thinking that Volcanion is the cause of that. So that's an immediate, it said Southern Kalos, it's revered. So, you know, it makes me think there was a scrap Southern Kalos thing, Volcanion's talked about in Southern Kalos.
Man.
I think it would have had some kind of plot in X2Y2Z's postgame.
I think yeah, man, that's really, really cool.
It could have been like its own Pokemon and it wasn't a mythical. It was just like a new Pokemon that they were going to introduce in it, because with cut stuff you never know where they came from, and then they just were like, let's make it a mythical, and it's just a gift,
it is instead. The oddball of the mythicals too, because it doesn't have an alternate form. It has the special typing, sure, but Diancie has a Mega, Hoopa has its unbound form, Volcanion doesn't have anything.
I really like the idea. Like, I imagine Game Freak when they're designing a game, right? Okay, let's say they're planning out the Kalos region. It's inspired by France. There's all these things inspired by France and the different cultures there and what they were able to learn from their trip, right? And they're picking and choosing certain mythical Pokemon that would make sense in the game, or maybe from other regions. But I imagine that the Game Freak staff creating mythical Pokemon are essentially saying, okay, let's take something that is completely unrelated from Kalos. Let's flesh it out. We'll give it a backstory. We'll inspire it by something that we're thinking about, but it doesn't actually have a full home that is like invented, right? And then they drop. So like Volcanion has lore, like we just don't know about it. Like we're drawing some connections right now, but Volcanion is low key from a region that we just have never been to. Maybe it is the Southern Kalos. Yeah, I just like that. That warms my heart and makes me smile to think that Game Freak is developing and thinking about these additional regions for where these Pokemon can call home. Can you guys imagine? Lumi said this like 2 weeks ago, and I can't get it out of my mind. Like, because this new Kalos game, Legend ZA, only takes place in a city. Like, okay, that's fine, but it does leave the opportunity open, right, for another Legends game to do something different, but also to just be also in Kalos. What if it's in Southern Kalos? Like the first Legends game is a reinterpretation of an existing region. Second Legends game is a singular location that's scaled up. Third Legends game, who knows? What if it's in a brand new region, Southern Kalos, that we've never seen before?
Oh boy, that means that we're going back to Kalos is going to live on forever.
We're going back to Kalos. Please do, man. Now,
we're going back to Kalos. I'd be happier, actually. So
I mean, and it really could be from a region outside of Southern Kalos too, because of the things that like I mentioned earlier. Brandon saying it was spotted in Johto, Sinnoh, and Kalos. So that's interesting in itself. Also, too, there has been this is 100% zero basis. This is fan speculation, but it's been so widely speculated for so long now. I feel like it's worth mentioning. One thing that we see in Kalos that also never really got addressed is the Kalos power plant next to Lumio City. Mm-hmm. You had all these areas that were locked and you couldn't access them, but you could click A on them and it would say like, oh, the door is locked, which almost implies like there's a way to unlock it. Why even draw attention to that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And because you go into Volcanion's inspirations of being a steam engine, and then you go into power and all that, some people have thought that Volcanion could have been tied to some kind of plot or side quest or something in the Kalos power plant that was ultimately scrapped.
Yeah, I think that's been like a long-standing theory, right? Because when like people knew about Volcanion, it was in the code, and we just all assumed that was going to be something that shows up in a Z version, right? Okay, in the Z version, we're going to be able to go to the power plant and discover Volcanion, and that just never happened.
Right.
So
it makes the most sense that that's where it would be.
Especially like you see that concept art, like in the bottom corner, like that looks Volcanion coded to me almost.
Yeah. So like it depicts the like the desert, like these outskirts of Kalos. It is the Kalos power plant, but all around it, it kind of looks like flowing magma, I
think like its whole engine vibe is what really sells it for me. It's like that's where a power engine would be,
Yeah, it's a hot location. There's fuel. This Pokemon is maybe being exploited similarly to Xerneas and Yveltal, to fuel Kalos, right? And who knows? Maybe that's something we see in Legends ZA even, right? Like, I feel like we still don't even know that much about the plot or like some of the details of the plot.
It certainly could be. Also, there's always the option of any kind of DLC or anything for those games. So even if it's on the base game,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's cool. Volcanion. Yeah. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
I mean, with Volcanion, you can start getting into Magearna a little bit with the movie. I don't know if you were going to go there at all.
Honestly, I kind of figured we'd tackle the Kalos ones. I mean, we can do whatever, but I kind of figured we'd tackle the Kalos ones first and then move to Magearna. Because the thing about Magearna is like, it's only, spoiler alert, it's only major connection to Kalos, like overt connection, is that it debuted in a Kalos movie.
I would argue that it's also super French coded. I think
it is French coded. Sure.
I think that it was created for X and Y. Personally, this is a theory, obviously, but I think that it was created for X and Y. I don't think that it was meant to be an Alola mythical. I think it was literally supposed to be another mythical for X and Y, and they just were like, okay, whatever, we're going to push it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I agree with you. So I feel I'm sure there were indicators. I just can't think of them right now. But like living through X and Y
page, if you go to its like Bulbapedia page or whatever, I think its move is like the Fjord or something.
Flower Cannon.
That's it.
French name.
Like, it's literally French.
Yeah,
it's kind of got a French-made like kind of appearance to it too.
Yeah, but
it should not be an Alola, period, anyway. It's like when you look at the two, it's like why, and then it's in the Kalos movie, so it's like
that's a couple different points. I think also just like living through X and Y, not getting those answers, and then also like playing Sun and Moon and realizing Zygarde got shoehorned into Sun and Moon, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like Magearna, I've always thought of Magearna as a Generation 6 Pokemon. I know it's not technically, but it has always, to me, felt like that. And it's probably because of the movie. It's probably because it was just basically distributed in Generation 7.
Yeah, I do think, too, like, I don't know, I've always actually associated it with Galar.
That's so random. But
that's even like a thing. Well, that's even like a thing that I don't know that he created it. I'm not sure. Maybe he did. But someone that popularized it, I think, is Loxton has this theory, or is talking about this theory, that every generation has a mythical that somehow hints to the next generation.
Right.
And I always kind of took Magearna as Alola's hint to Galar, because, Galar had the first city we were shown off was Motostoke, which was a very steampunk-based city. You could also, some other ties you could make with Kalos and Alola, and this is very tinfoil hat theory, but Magearna is a steel fairy type. You do have these Tapus on the islands that are part fairy type, and in Alola. And while Hawaii doesn't necessarily have any connection to France, there is French Polynesia, like other Polynesian islands that are under France. So
That is the way to explain it away in a Gen 7 game for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I could come up with a theory about it being like, this is purely a theory, but just like a version of Diancie, which we'll get into, but it could be like a man-made version of Diancie made with like the soul heart of like some kind of gem from Diancie. Do you know what I mean? Because they're so similar looking. You could be like, oh, the soul heart of Magearna is actually made from Diancie's gem. It's inside of that thing, and that's why they look alike. Something crazy like that. But it all kind of ties in for me in my head canon, I'd say.
Its little hand weapon is very similar to the ultimate weapon. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yes. That as well.
Yeah, that was definitely I remember something that was circulating. I think also like the fact that it's a Pokemon that is like a mechanical Pokeball. I think you could also probably create or draw connections in a theory relating it to the Pokeball factory in Kalos.
Sure. Yeah.
Like maybe it's like an artificial Pokemon spawned from Team Flare, right? Just like how like Team Rocket, created Mewtwo.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see it in Legends ZA. Like, so this is like kind of the point of the episode a bit, where it's like, how could we see these mythicals in a game or like some kind of story with them? And I could see it being in Legends ZA. It's so like futuristic, like building things, very industrial. It's just like, oh, this is where they built Magearna, something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
For what it's worth, in the anime's show, not the movie, but in the show, a Magearna, and I think it's even technically a shiny Magearna, was built by Moan, the father of Lily and Gladium. And see, the funny thing about that is that there was also this other theory with Magearna that, going back to the Tapus thing, Magearna was the Tapu for, I'm saying that with quotes for listeners, for the Ether Paradise, because that's like a 5th artificial island of Alola, and Magearna's an artificial Pokemon.
I can see that.
Moan, was obviously a part of the Ether Foundation, and he built it in the anime, so, Whoa, before we let you continue watching this amazing video, we got to thank the amazing people who made this video possible. So many of you are supporting the show by liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff. But some of you are even going beyond that to financially support the show, which means a ton of us. And we want to take a moment to shout out a couple of you. First off, our mythical tier supporters: Ryan Amphosinus, Coronet Highlander, Tyler Low 15, Normal Guy, Sam Ross, Porygon A, Ball Guy, Doom Typhlosion, Nicholas Taylor, and the Pokekiddo 1. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporters: SEH Art Gold, Lethal Randy, and Red or Carson K. And we want to give a mega evolved size shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level members: Bramtastic, Young Smokey, and Young Smokey. I said that name twice because you were a supporter on Patreon and YouTube, which is insane.
Oh my god.
But thank you all so much.
Guys, I just short-circuited. Thank you so much.
Right, like it makes you speechless. It genuinely does. Like I read those and I'm just like taken aback.
He's frozen. Names, man. He cannot move.
Literally, the show is independent. We've got, I think we actually just got another person on staff. We got like 10 people on the team. The number might be 11. I'm not even sure. 10 people who are behind the scenes working on Hidden Power to bring you the best Pokemon conversations on the internet, to bring you 2 podcast episodes a week, to bring you these secret power episodes, everything, all the clips on social, all of the active updates on Twitter, managing the Discord. This show is completely independent, and we could not do this. We still would not be doing this in 2025 without your support. If you want your name read on the show, the mythical tier or higher, links are in the description, and we'll recognize you as one of our founding producers, or our, what's the word? Sponsors. That's the word we use.
Yeah.
And if you want to get access to any of our bonus episodes, if you want to get into the secret Discord, participate in our movie nights, our live call-in shows, our battle league, $5 or up a month, just $5, you get access to everything. And that's on Patreon, that's on YouTube, your preference. Perks are the same. And literally, I don't know. I just love you guys so much. I'm gonna get mushy and sappy.
Same.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for supporting.
All the love in the world.
Yeah, thank you for supporting Hidden Power Podcast. Appreciate you guys.
All right, back to the video.
Back to the episode.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah.
Guys, there's a theory. I don't know. I'm looking at Magearna right now, and I'm like, I know it's not, but like it being a technological Pokemon and its shiny form being all chrome just reminds me of all of the future Paradox Pokemon where their shinies are all chrome and they are these like living mechanical creatures.
Technically, it is like literally one of them. Like, you know, they're robots, and that's what Magearna is essentially.
And I've always thought, not like literally, but like I've always in my mind seen connections between Magearna and Diancie. They're both inspired by like rabbits. Yeah, you know, Magearna has the rabbit ears, and then Diancie. I don't know. I guess Diancie doesn't. I mean, it kind of has rabbit ears
more so, and it's
Carbink does a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, Diancie is like supposed to be like the mythical, you know, 1 in a million spawn or evolution of Carbink, which has those like rabbit connections. So, I don't know.
Beautiful transition if we're done with Magearna.
I'm actually. I don't want to leave Volcanion out in the cold like he always is. Is there any way that you would imagine it being? Yeah, you're right. Is there any way you would imagine it being in like a story or some kind of story? I mean, than I guess the what is it called? Oh my gosh,
South Kalos or the power plant. I think the power plant, the easiest thing to do, especially to I had this whole thing. It doesn't look like it's the case. In fact, it's not the case. But with Legends ZA, when we were first told like this is going to be entirely set with Lumiose City, I had this thought that could include the routes surrounding Lumiose because they're so very intrinsically tied to Lumiose. Like one is a park, that's part of a city. One's a skate park, that's part of a city. One's a topiary garden, that feels like part of the city. And then the Badlands where the Kalos power plant is actually called the Lumiose Badlands. Right. So I could maybe see, I don't know, I'm almost willing to say like more so DLC, but certainly like post game. Maybe they would let you go over to the Badlands to take on Volcanion, right? And there's connections too with the power. That's
what I'm hoping for
as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I just wanted to make sure he got his justice. It's probably my favorite mythical of all the ones we're talking about. So
yeah, Magearna is such a weird one, and it even has like it has a special form, not a shiny. It's like this Pokeball.
Yeah.
What is it called? The original color Magearna and the Alola Pokedex. So you have regular Magearna as like this pink, white color, and then the original color Magearna just looks like a Pokeball.
Right.
And it's like
it's like the original one.
Fun
like
fact
there's
too,
two of them essentially.
It wasn't even made available until Generation 8. It's the reward for like completing the home Pokedex or whatever.
Yep. So
I
was
story.
Able
I have one.
Yeah, I was just able to get one like last year.
Wow, I do not have one, but I don't care that much, honestly.
I didn't get it from completing home. I'll tell you that. I got it from just trading it. Yeah, I traded it with a guy, a friend of mine.
Dude, it was a friend. I was about to tell you.
It wasn't hacked, random, man. No, it wasn't a random person because I was like, it's gonna be just like a hacked mon. But no,
I don't know if you can trade it though. I don't know if you could trade mythicals. Like anything.
It was back in the day. It was a long time ago.
If you sent it into the main game, you could. Like, if he traded on Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I did. That's how I traded it. Not on home.
Interesting. But it's such a weird Pokemon. I think it's kind of ugly, but it is.
Yeah, I'm not
like
really
there's stuff there. Oh yeah, it's called the artificial Pokemon.
I think it's cool.
Let me read some dex entries. So it says in Sun, the artificial Pokemon constructed more than 500 years ago can understand human speech but cannot itself speak. Okay, so that's like given. Yeah, it's like a droid. It's like a helpful robot AI. Its mechanized body is merely a vessel. Its true self is its soul heart, an artificial soul. What?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, what is that lore? That's crazy.
Like, it's
it has deep lore
in the middle. That's the real part.
If you look at the concept art, you can see it pretty clear. Wherever that was earlier.
Yeah, where is that? Let's see. Let's pull it up. You know what? Let's just sit on that for a second. What is an artificial soul?
Yes, pretty well.
I'm thinking about. Let me make this bigger. This site is just so slow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to pull stuff up.
Yeah, you had it before, but it's like the middle part of its body too. Like if you just look at Magearna, you can see the whole thing.
Yeah, but like, what would you like? Let's think about it. What is an artificial, like, in the Pokemon world? What is an artificial soul? I guess I'm just thinking like, okay, what is the thing that powers everything? It is infinity energy.
Yeah,
Could be. This thing is created out of infinity energy. What also contains infinity energy? Megastones. Like, it is an orb that is in its chest. Is this thing powered by mega energy?
Yeah,
yeah, it could be.
Is there? Does it have a mega core inside of it that basically like gives life to inanimate objects? Like, that's basically how that functions. And its hand even looks like the ultimate weapon, which is crazy.
I really wish I had done more theories on this Pokemon before we knew a lot about ZA, because the whole like its hand opening up to be the ultimate weapon is pretty wild, actually.
Yeah. The like narrative of the Volcanion and Magearna movie would probably back that up too, Dusty, because in it, just like there is Magearna with the soul heart, and that's like an artificial heart.
Yeah,
the villain creates an artificial keystone to do a form of Mega Evolution. So that's almost like out of world. That's almost like a narrative way of like artificial keystone, artificial Megastone. I mean,
and it makes rogue Mega Pokemon essentially. The Mega Wave. It's like they literally become rogue Mega Pokemon. It's crazy that they took a lot from that movie, I think, with ZA. But
I think like, yeah, I'm imagining a world where like Magearna very easily gets a Mega Evolution,
Yes, I could see that.
And because it's mechanical, they could just like,
Do I want that? No, but
it's cool. I mean, this Pokemon seems pretty, like, there's a whole thing here. There's a whole,
Can
I
it
guess
become
makes
like
sense for a movie, but like, I could see this being tied in, right? Where it's like, and maybe the story isn't like world ending, but it's like, you basically start talking to these characters, you start a side quest and learn more about this Pokemon. And it happens to be, it's like a sob story, right? The person's like, oh, I heard a tale about this Pokemon that was brought to life out of nothing and yada, yada, yada. And then you get to learn more about it. And then you're like, it doesn't know what its existence is. It's that classic story of like, robots not understanding the meaning of life or something. Right. And then, and then we basically save it from, I don't know. I'm imagining this thing is like, to give this thing purpose. It's like, can I join you? Right.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
Maybe as long as its Mega is like a transformer and just transforms into like a whole dragon, then I'm good.
Oh, I guess
turn it into a dragon. Yeah. Mechanical dragon.
I guess I meant just like base, like what would Magearna's story be for like a mythical giveaway? That's kind of what I was just there. Yeah, and it would be cool. It's funny because this one is literally the worst offender where you literally just get given it. It has a whole movie.
Yeah.
It's so bad that you can get it right now. Like, it's not like they gave it out for a limited time. You can literally, it is an indefinite mystery gift, really.
You got to work for it.
No, you don't. You pull up your QR. I mean, I guess in the sense that you got to buy a 3DS and all that, sure. But if you have a 3DS, you pull up a QR code and you scan it. Boom, you got a Magearna.
I was going to say the second one that you're talking about, Dusty, is like, that is better, though. The way that you have to work for it for the original Pokeball, that's way better.
You are right. I was talking about the
Magearna,
original.
You can just get in Sun and Moon by scanning a QR code.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You can still do that in Sun and Moon?
Yeah, you can still do it. I mean,
they're right here. Wow.
Pretty soon they're going to shut down. They're going to at some point shut down like the transporter. So at some point you can get your 40 Magearnas and they'll be locked on the 3DS.
I should do this soon. Yeah. I got to do this soon. I'm playing Sun and Moon. All right. Well, it's cool.
Do it every Sun and Moon playthrough, man, because that's another Magearna you can have.
Let's you want to talk about Diancie? What are in your notes? Well, actually, hold on. No. For Magearna, I wanted to read a couple more of these. It synchronizes its consciousness. References. Say it again.
I was just saying there's a lot of anime references in its original Color Dex entry.
These are so weird to me. This is Magearna from Ultra Sun. It synchronizes its consciousness with others to understand their feelings. This faculty makes it useful for taking care of people. And I guess that is just like, it's an empathetic creature, right? It's able to like read its
kind of a
surroundings
maid too. Like a maid
that's what
design.
I was saying earlier, was that its design is kind of reminiscent of like the classic French maid look.
French maid, yeah.
There's your French maid, French Kalos, you know.
It's got like a bonnet around its head. Yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Soul Heart is the actual life form. The part called the Soul Heart is the actual life form. So interesting. Yeah, that's weird. This beautiful form reflects Magearna's appearance when first presented to a king's daughter 500 years ago. Interesting.
That's an anime reference to the it's kind of backstory in the movie.
Oh, so this is for the original color, is what I'm reading.
But see, the interesting thing about this is it's, I don't know, these are kind of confusing, like, to how much stake you can put in these, because not only are they dex entries, and dex entries are kind of funny anyways, but also this is kind of like an anime form that they canonized in the game in the same way that you have the Dada Zarud. You know?
Sure. And then I guess there's no other dex entries for
there's your code, guys. Scan it.
Get your Magearna now.
Get your Magearna.
So that's pretty much it. That's really cool. This is the form. It's formed from almost 500 years ago. Its body is nothing more than a container. Its artificial heart is the actual life form. Okay. All right, we've read it. That's cool. The vivid decoration is proof that it was presented as a gift to royalty. All right.
I love the backstory. It's cool.
Yeah, there's something here. There's something here. Let's move on to Diancie.
Diancie. So, Diancie, this one's kind of probably going to be like the meatiest conversation we have because, so first off, just a fun tidbit about Diancie that I would love to see explored more, is that, Dusty, you touched on this earlier, it's almost like the purest form of a Blood Moon Ursaluna. With Blood Moon Ursaluna, we find out there's this one Ursaluna that just happened to become this Blood Moon form.
Yeah.
And Diancie's like that. It used to be a Carbink, but it's not an evolution. Carbink doesn't evolve into Diancie, but just a freak thing will happen where a Carbink becomes a Diancie, and that's how Diancie is created. So that's just kind of wild in itself, I feel like.
That's literally a dex entry, right? A sudden transformation of Carbink. Its pink, glimmering body is said to be the loveliest sight in the whole world. It can instantly create many diamonds by compressing the carbon in the air between its hands. Lumi, am I allowed to take credit for that Blood Moon Ursaluna relation? I feel like I was screaming about that first. I feel like that was my... I don't know. Maybe
sure.
You do you.
I feel like I've heard it everywhere. I think people always talk about Diancie being like that, but sure, you can have it.
All right, I'm gonna go back. I feel like I was talking about that first when Blood Moon Ursaluna came out.
I feel like you talked about it a lot with AZ's Floette. I know that.
Yeah, I agree. That one as well.
But
maybe I'm off.
But maybe you're right on it. I don't remember. But we've talked so much on this podcast. But an interesting thing about Diancie, you just read this in its dex entry, is that it creates these diamonds. And this is where we get into the stat conversation, because these diamonds are pink crystals. And
yes.
So when you go, okay, Diancie is a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. It is able to create these pink crystals. I also do want it noted that while they, have announced more Kalos Mega Evolutions, we know of Hawlucha being able to Mega Evolve. For the longest time, Diancie was the only Kalos Mega Evolution.
Which is notable. It's
notable. Like, it stood out. It was the only one, and of course it was a mythical. So, for one, you instantly go, okay, X and Y, there is the Anastar Sundial. The Anastar Sundial is this giant pink crystal that has obvious ties to Mega Evolution. You've got up here now, there's this Legend ZA, there's these mega crystals that are just scattered throughout the city, and you can destroy them to kind of collect mega energy that can be used to either create or exchange for mega stones. Either way, very obvious tie to Diancie here, literally pink crystals. Yeah. And then to go even further, to get all our anime fans tied into this, in the anime, there's a picture of it on the screen too, Dusty, above the Mega Charizard X. There is this new thing called Loquium, and it's this pink crystal that the villains are able to use to power up their Pokemon, but at the expense of it kind of makes their Pokemon crash out. Like they go berserk, they kind of are in a lot of pain, and that is, while it's not Mega Evolution, it is a very similar phenomenon to Mega Evolution, because we see with Mega Evolution, sometimes the Pokemon goes berserk, and several dex entries tell us that it is in severe pain. So just all the connections there, the fact that anytime they show us Mega Evolution, like here, you're seeing this pink aura, and you seeing what I'm saying? You know?
Oh, I see it. I see it.
It's all
I've seen it for months.
Too much, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy if they don't connect them. That's
Right.
what's really crazy, because it's all there. It's just right for the taking.
It will be a missed opportunity.
It just feels so on the nose.
But
yeah,
I think it's gonna happen. I really, really do. Also,
the thing
if you
is
wanted to
like
read too hard into it, you could argue it's a counterpart to Zygarde, because the ground in Zygarde.
Diancie?
Yeah, because the ground in Zygarde beats the rock in Diancie, and the fairy in Diancie beats the dragon in Zygarde.
Ooh, there's a little balance there.
That's really the thing, is like when you're thinking about how it could be in a game, or like how you could introduce it as a mythical event story or something. It's like in ZA, it should be like the counterpart, the big like counterpart to Zygarde. Like it should be a focal point of a story, actually.
Yeah.
The way that they set it all up. But
you even have
we don't know if that's going to happen.
And Mega Diancie is, at least in the anime, depicted with this like pink crystalline sword, right? That it uses
that's so cool too
for combat.
Yeah.
And I think you can draw a very nice parallel between this like serpentine dragon fighting this like royal
a princess
royal
with a sword,
warrior,
so also a knight thing. Sure.
Yeah, that's I can see that in a story. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that in Legends ZA. You know. Again, like in Pokemon X and Y, like it's the X and Y legends that are like Xerneas and Evoltal that are like being exploited for their infinity energy, their power. I still wonder if we could see something similar to that, but with a different Pokemon. Maybe some of these mythicals, right?
That's why I love too about the current era we're in with Pokemon, is that they don't mind doing that. I don't think, like not only do they not mind giving mythicals a story, but what's fun too is they will even kind of give mythicals some kind of story or blurb in another, like in a region outside of its own, or a game outside of its own, right? Like we got Meloetta and the Blueberry Academy, which granted is Unova, but still.
And there's not much of a story. There is something there.
Right. Keldeo and the Crown Tundra. Yeah, just them doing a little bit more with these mythicals than literally having a guy in a Pokemart hand you it without asking any questions,
Right. Yeah.
And like while you can still get them at any point, you still have to like purchase the game in order to get them and play through the game,
Right.
I really think we might see Diancie in Legends ZA. I feel like, and if not for in the main game, maybe in the DLC. But the fact that it has a Mega Evolution, it feels like a shoo-in for it showing up in Legends ZA. Let's take a look. Do you have more on your list, Lumi?
No, that's really it. I just think that's a lot. Like the connections of it and Mega Evolution go way beyond just it even having a Mega. It's insane.
I totally agree.
The only thing I also had a theory on at one point was, and it might be hard for you to pull up actually, because this just came back to me. But in Diantha's like champion arena, when you go face Diantha, there's like these statues of like women with like swords and stuff. I don't know. It was like a huge thing where people were like, "Is this going to be the A legendary?" and all this stuff. And I think it actually looks a lot like Diancie's
dude, I see it.
sword
I can
thing.
see it. Yeah,
I do see it.
That it's like she might have been like a warrior of Kalos at some point and related to the war and the ultimate weapon and all
or these goddesses were, these statues were like, I guess like depictions of their goddess Diancie, right? Or Mega Diancie, whatever, the protector.
There's the other one in the like the main one where you're going in the like elevator, I guess, to the different rooms. That everyone was like, this is a new Pokemon and all that, but I'm like, this is kind of like Diancie actually.
Sure. Interestingly, with Diancie and also with Hoopa, is that neither of their forms weren't even in the Kalos games. You cannot get Mega Diancie in X and Y, and you cannot get Hoopa Bound in X and Y.
Yeah, that's so weird, but also like typical Game Freak stuff. Yeah, this is the image, Dusty, that you're on right here. So like the two things coming off the back and off the front, it's like a kind of a mix. And even Diantha, her whole outfit has the same kind of vibe going on, like her
right,
poofy,
the way it goes out, like at her waist, kind of like Diancie's dress goes. Yeah,
this one was from me back in the day. You can see it there.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's cool.
ZA question mark.
Well, this was like at the beginning where it's like, what's the A legendary? You know, what are these things?
Yeah. No, this is cool. I actually haven't. Yeah, this is cool. Kind of cool to like look back on.
It reminds me of Cresselia.
Yeah, it does. It does look like it. But it's the sword. She has a sword in her hands.
Sword, like no, it's. I think you're on it. Like it's very similar to Diancie's sword too, and it's like shape and how lean it is.
Yeah.
The bottom line is like they could put it into the game with like so much lore, but like I don't think they would ever do it because it's a mythical. It's like, why did there's so much to this?
A lot of statues in the Pokemon world that we see in the game, in the world, it is fun sometimes if it resembles something specific to imagine that like, okay, this is a real depiction of a Pokemon that actually exists. But I do think it's important to know that like, or to just think about that, like in our world, people create statues to depict gods all the time. But no one really knows what a god would look like. So it's always interpretive depending on their culture, right? And their, whatever other variables might influence, how they view that god. So, and I think the Pokemon in a Pokemon world are very powerful creatures that can affect the lives of humans and societies. So, like in the Pokemon world, powerful legendary Pokemon, megas, are gods, right? They literally are these powerful magical things. So sometimes I'm just saying, like sometimes, like I think this is a cool image that you made, Soul, because like what you're doing is like connecting you're taking elements from various Kalos Pokemon and applying them, and they do kind of match up with certain elements of the statue. So I could see people like Game Freak creating the statue, taking inspiration from all the different like body parts from these different legendary Pokemon, and then they're kind of creating something like a hybrid creature, like, and you're just kind of working backwards. So like I think about, there's like all these depictions of dragons in the Unova region and the Galar region, and like it's fun to be like, oh, that's a Pokemon, but it probably isn't. It could be. It even definitely
like the
could
gem
be.
statues in like the Kanto region.
Yeah, exactly.
The substitute doll. It's all like
there's even statues. There's even statues in this, like the like whole Kalos.
Gambit and B Sharp. Yeah.
Like it's not always literally a
this
one-to-one Pokemon. That's all.
Yeah, like this is clearly Noivern, but it's also so different from Noivern.
Oh, this is sick. Yeah,
I think it should be a Pokemon.
It's
its own Pokemon.
It's a Mega Noivern, man. Trust.
Dude, that looks crazy. That looks crazy. All right, let's get back on track. Yeah, we didn't even talk about Hoopa. We started talking about Magearna, but Hoopa is the Mischief Pokemon, and then when it goes into its unbound form, it becomes the Jin Pokemon. Hoopa is Hoopa Confined. It's like this little guy. He's got like his little rings, and he's playful.
He's a little guy.
And then he evolves into this like monstrosity.
Yeah,
this
then
like
he evolves into the devil. Like real scary looking,
Yeah.
Just crazy.
I will say a good way to tie the two of them together, Diancie and Hoopa, is, I mean, I'm sure there's more ways, but the Anistar City Sundial, instantly you're like, because I know we didn't touch much on the Sundial with Diancie, but it is the similar gem, and like Diancie could have created that. Like there's this whole other theory where, okay, the Anistar City Sundial comes from space, apparently. That's what it says in the game, I think. It's very like there's ideas that are out there in the internet, and you're like, oh, this is in the game, and then you look it up, and you're like, wait, is this in the game?
I know, like I could have sworn there was a reason that they said that that Volcanion was found in the Kalos power plant, and
Yeah.
There wasn't. It was just
people's theories that become like handed down facts, essentially. Yeah. But to say all that, that the stones that are like in space came down, and they're like also the Anastar City sundial that also finds megastones. It's like all connected to this whole megastone thing. Like Rayquaza even ate some of those stones up in space. We don't know if they're the same ones, but it would make sense if they were. That let it mega evolve itself. So all that to say that with the sundial that could be connected to Diancie, there's rings right in front of it as well. There's these golden rings, and so like I don't know if that's like a man-made part of it or a part that they got from Hoopa in a way. This is all theories as well, but you know, like there's gold in the sundial as well.
Yeah, so like for listeners, what we're looking at, this is a still from Pokemon X and Y. It's the Anastar City sundial. It's this giant statue. I don't know if it's statue is the right word, but it's just like this crystalline landmark. I think I've noticed before that it kind of looks like a you know, if you take the silhouette of like a meteor where all the fire and the energy is flowing behind it, it looks as if one of those has just crashed down but didn't like dissipate. It like crashed and then froze in place. So it's this like you know, the spikes are going upwards, and it's pink, it's crystalline, just like Diancie. And then you also have these like gold rings in gold. These like smooth gold markings attached to this crystalline structure as well. So that's the connection to Hoopa. Hoopa has these rings.
Yeah, because like, is it man-made?
Those markings, they're kind of similar in shape to the statue we were talking about.
What is it?
Which ones?
The statue in the Diantha's champion room. It's like a similar shape to the markings on the.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People put that together as well.
Yeah.
It's like the two same.
That's a good read, Lumi. That's good.
Yeah. There's so many like connecting things, and it's like you said, Dusty, where it's probably not meant to be connected, but it's just all of their inspiration when they were making the game, like all kind of meshed together and made like this. Sure. It's world building, right? It's world building.
Yeah. I think they have. Yeah. I think it's not all meant to work perfectly together. I think realistically, like out of world, there's just like different ideas from the same starting point that kind of bleed into, you know, into the game, into existence. And then the people working on this have different inspiration points, but also there is intention with like, well, this thing, you know, it should relate to this a little bit, and it should relate to this a little bit. And then they can always make it connect.
My whole point with bringing it up is, and Lumi, you know the lore better than me, but Hoopa brings things in with its rings. And so like if the rings are there at the Anastar City sundial, then you know you find random megastones all over the place, like essentially created from the sundial, not really, but they're like randomly spread out the region. And it's like it's almost like the rings might bring them around. I don't know, it's weird to me. It's like
there's a really confusing.
It's a portal,
honestly.
Yeah. Exactly, it's a portal. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
but like they're Hoopa ring portals. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do think
I like that.
I think there's room there for like, yeah, that definitely could be something. Like we could see this built upon further in the future to maybe explain. Maybe this is the original portal where Hoopa comes from. You know?
Yeah, it could be even. There you go. If you go back to the Google page, you can see exactly what Lumi was talking about. You see the gold, that. Yeah. You see, it's like the same sundial,
like the same kind of basic markings as the.
People were going crazy with this statue when it first happened.
I don't know. But, if I'm being honest, this connection right here feels as floppy as like every Pokemon is in X and or Y shape, and you guys
that makes sense. It's from Light's Twitter,
and you guys hate that one.
I was gonna say it's that one. It feels like a one of those.
Real quick, I just wanted to let you know that we have brand new Mega Evolution designs on our merch store, shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. New merch out right now. It's this beautiful blue and pink design, bold font in the back. The pink color was kind of a late add in the design process, but I think the pink is so nice both colors together remind me of like summer nights, like the cotton candy sky, but the pink is so clearly tied to Mega Evolution.
Very rogue Mega Evolution.
Absolutely.
Right?
I can't wait to play Legends ZA, and I also can't wait to order and receive and wear my new Mega Evolution t-shirt right now, available at shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. Thank you so much.
Go get one.
If you want to support, links are in the description. See ya.
No, I don't really buy this that much, but it looks kind of similar.
Yeah, and
like
it
totally...
spoke to me in one of the images. I was like, ooh. But art is subjective.
Yeah.
But
anywho, Hoopa.
There's a big ring on it. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
With Hoopa, you do have to, of course, the obvious thing I think everybody thinks of is in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you have these rings scattered around. It's how you find these legendary Pokemon. And it's funny, they actually do not explicitly state at any point in the game, hey, these are from a mythical Pokemon called Hoopa. It's just very obvious visually that they're from Hoopa, especially if you then see the Hoopa movie where he's doing the same thing.
Right.
But also too, you have
look at this. Wow.
In the like, come on, it's Hoopa. It's not Hoopa, but it's
him.
Hoopa, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more tied to Hoenn than Kalos, but there is a connection to Kalos here too, where with Hoopa, you have in the Hoenn region these things called the Mirage Islands, and they're these islands that will appear and disappear, and different ones will appear and disappear on different days. It's kind of random, like which ones you're going to get. And the idea is that just like these legendary Pokemon are being brought about by Hoopa, these Mirage Islands would also have been brought about by Hoopa. Like he's summoning whole freaking islands into the Hoenn region randomly.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that is that, again, going back to the Terra Leak, you have one of the locations in the Southern Kalos game was supposed to be a Mirage Island. And specifically, they had this whole thing planned in either X and Y or X2 and Y2. It's kind of unclear for Mirage Islands to be there. And you would have even been able to like claim the Mirage Island and name it and share it with your friends through the 3DS Street Pass thing. But just say that to say, if there was going to be Mirage Islands in South Kalos, maybe they would have done a little bit more. Like, this is our tease that, hey, Hoopa might be involved with these rings. And then X2Y2Z, we get a Scrap Kalos game where they're like hard. Yeah, it's Hoopa, you know?
Dude, Southern Kalos is starting to feel like a Mirage Island. Like, it's not real.
It's
just a Mirage.
It's a Mirage.
It is and it isn't.
It's been fake this whole time.
You're not totally wrong, man. You're not.
That would be so
wrong.
fun to create not just a secret base, because that's like what the idea is building on, right? The secret base is in Generation 3. In the remake, you can use Hoopa's rings to create your own secret Mirage Island. Like, that's really fun. And then it's like, it's not an inside base. It's like Animal Crossing. You can like decorate the whole island.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, and getting to name it, man, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is mine, you know?
Yeah, this is
maybe in Gen 10.
Island.
Yeah, and then sharing it on the Street Pass, that just makes sense, because, like, they loved doing that back then. Like, it was how you did the Eon ticket as well, I believe.
Dude, that's so cool. These Hoopa rings are crazy. Let's read some dex entries. We got a lot more Pokemon that we got to get into. Let's see. The Troublemaker sends anything and everything to faraway places using its loops. Okay, so they're called loops, which can warp space.
I think that's a Bulbapedia thing. Oh, no, wait, is that in the Dex
entry? Yeah, call them
my
loops.
gosh.
It's dumb.
Why would they call him loops when his name is Hoops? His name is Hoopa. Hoop.
It gathers things it likes and passes them through its loop to teleport them to a secret place. In its true form, it possesses a huge amount of power. Legends of its... Oh, dude, there it is right there. Oh, my God.
Legends Hoopa?
Legends loop. Legends of it eviscerate. Hold on. Legends of its...
Avarice? I don't know. I've never seen that word in my life.
Let's see what this means. Search Google for avarice.
It means an excessive and insatiable greed for wealth or possessions.
You guys are too quick. How are you guys looking that up immediately? I got it right here.
Lumi's quick with that stuff. Yeah, he's quick with that stuff.
Legends of its greed tell how it once carried off an entire castle to gain its treasure hidden within.
The treasure? Ooh. The treasures of ruin? No. The greedy king?
That's not even
Wait,
crazy.
What treasure is hidden within it, though?
We don't know, because we've never seen the castle.
But it's like a genie thing, right?
Yeah.
It has a whole castle though. Like,
I mean, that's like, because again, they're pulling from like Arabic stories and Islamic stories,
sure.
and Aladdin does originate from that like part of the world, and that story. And I don't know how true the Disney movie is to the actual fairy tale, but
Lumi's whole theory is devolving quick.
I know, like you see it crumbling.
It's like, wait,
but in the Disney
of...
movie, you do have the Cave of Wonders, and that's basically what that is, right? Like it's not a castle, but it's this like just den of riches, really, and it disappears and appears.
That's definitely a whole thing. Like it's got to be a myth in a Middle Eastern culture.
I don't know if it was part of the original Aladdin story, but it's a part of the Disney one. And who's to say Pokemon didn't pull from it too, They might have Will Smith play Hoopa in a live-action Pokemon
movie. No, why would you ever say that?
I don't know.
In Alpha Sapphire, it says that it's Hoopa is said to be able to seize anything it desires with its 6 rings and 6 huge arms. With its power sealed, it is transformed into a much smaller form. So it does call it rings as well, other than a loop. In X, like in X and Y, they call it a loop, and then in the remakes for Hoenn, they say rings.
That's better. They should have kept it that way and worse. I like that they retconned that.
Rings, loops, hoops.
And this thing gets pretty powerful, and it's not quite. So what's interesting about this is like obviously when you introduce a new form that's like super powerful, right as you're introducing mega forms that are super powerful, it's easy to be like, oh, this could be like a mega evolution. But the stat increase is only 80 points from Hoopa to Hoopa Unbound.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, also, these 2 Pokemon have different types.
Yeah.
Like Hoopa goes from, and this never made sense to me. It went from Psychic and Ghost, and then when it goes to its Unbound form, it's Psychic and Dark.
It's because Hoopa Unbound, it's evil. Like so, something about in
okay. The Ghost is like a genie.
This is not from Aladdin, but from the actual source. So gens are sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Like in different depictions, they've been good. In different depictions, they've been bad. I think this is Pokemon kind of showing both sides of that coin.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, it just goes into its origins.
Yeah. So do we have more connections with this Pokemon in the Kalos region and Mega Evolution?
Kalos is the weirdest part about this Pokemon.
I think
it's like, what are you doing here?
Is just seeing that the Mirage Islands were planned for either X and Y or X2, Y2, and Z. Ultimately, that was scrapped. If you wanted to go a little bit with the real world influences, there have been many interactions between France and Arabian countries over all of history, dating all the way back to the Middle Ages. So that would be the out of world experience or explanation for why they put Hoopa in a Kalos game.
Yeah, that does make sense.
In world, the biggest piece of evidence I think is really just the South Kalos Mirage Island stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, how would you bring it in as like a story though too? I mean,
I think that I said this with Volcanion too, but I think it even more so with Hoopa. I think you would have a game that is set in South Kalos, or a story that is set in South Kalos, or even a portion of South Kalos, right? But then also too, the fact of the matter is Hoopa has this unique ability to just conjure up things whenever and wherever it wants. So you kind of can do that anywhere. I remember we were all speculating. You remember back in the days when we didn't know if Legends EA was past or present or future or whatever. And people even speculated that Hoopa would be like this game's version of the distortions, the space-time rifts. And that would be how we got like future Pokemon like Porygon Z and stuff, is by Hoopa rings. So just saying that to say, like, Hoopa, you can throw him in any game at any time.
You can just put him anywhere.
Do anything with him. He is the biggest wild card Pokemon has, honestly.
I'm thinking about, what is it?
No, I was going to say just bringing that up makes me think like, so my ideal way to like introduce him would be something like what we saw in Oras, where there's rings, and it was Oras, yeah? I don't know, I haven't played it, but what we were talking about earlier, where there's rings and the legendary Pokemon come out of it, and then at the end you're kind of like, who's doing all this? And you get to like Hoopa, and it's there, and you like kind of have to like stop it or catch it to I mean, it's more simple, right? But they could put some story into it to make it more engaging.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just this. I have never thought about this before, but like, again, when I would imagine when introducing a mythical Pokemon to make it feel even more elusive and special and like, like I don't know. I really think what makes Pokemon special is like the idea that there are rare Pokemon. There's Pokemon that like are unobtainable, or if you can get them, they are difficult to get, and you might be the only one in your friend group with it, right? And that has changed over time as Pokemon has gotten more popular or whatever, right? But I'm thinking about mythical Pokemon in their design, in their inspiration points, in and out of universe, in relation to the rest of the region. So if we look at Hoopa, right, if its whole thing is about like greed, right, if it's about having exactly what you desire, I do think in the Kalos game, when you play through that game, there are themes of class, right? There are themes of like status and what makes you powerful. Beauty, people talk about, right? Beauty. Everyone's like trying to look a certain way, right, to express themselves, right, or really to just fall in line with status. And not only there's the geographical and cultural difference of like what Hoopa is based on and how that's like literally foreign to France, but then there's also like the idea that like Hoopa is the looking glass, maybe, right? Hoopa is the what is it, like the sorcerer's stone, or Hoopa is the temptation of greed, right? It's like you can go too far with all of those things. So it again, I think there are connections. Like Hoopa's origin is in conversation with the rest of the Kalos region and what's going on with X and Y. Another, like I guess just for another connection or parallel or similar relationship in another region, I'm thinking about Deoxys, right? Deoxys is it's literally an alien. It's a virus, right, from space. In Generation 3 in the Hoenn games, the whole thing is about the actual Earth, the ecosystem, or the balance of land and sea on Earth. And Earth would mean every culture on Earth, right? Every single world or society on Earth. And a way to contrast that is you have Deoxys, which is literally from a creature from somewhere beyond our Earth. And then you also have Jirachi, which is a wish maker, right? In terms of like, I feel like that's also in exactly. Yeah, it's like a meteorite or whatever. And it's also in conversation with like the desires of the evil teams, right? It's like they're both fighting over one true identity, and they essentially want, right? It's like their wish is to just like change something immediately. So just kind of interesting.
On that note, the whole ZA Royale and getting your one wish granted at the end of it is very just like, that's a good way that they could have brought Hoopa into the game, where it's just, it doesn't have to be a huge part of the game, but it's just like Hoopa's the one granting wishes, because it is a djinn. Like that's the whole thing with genies, like granting wishes, and everything that you just said, Dusty, is very it felt like it should connect, just be like, oh yeah, it's actually a Hoopa that they have that's granting them their one wish. Even if it's not even a wish, it's just like it has a ring and it brings anything through the ring, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah. And that could be like a legendary Pokemon. It could be Mega Stones. It could be really whatever.
Abolishing taxis or whatever.
Yeah.
Putting all the taxis in the ring.
Wait. So, I may have misremembered something. But I just had a random memory that popped into my head. So it does say. It says specifically, I just pulled it up on Bulbapedia. I don't know where they got this, but they say on Bulbapedia that specifically that whole castle thing where it transported a castle was 3,000 years ago. And
of course
it was in Kalos. And so there's instantly what else happened 3,000 years ago in Kalos,
Maybe he saved the castle for himself.
Oh, maybe
he's like, I'm gonna let all this gold go to
all
waste.
Riches, yeah. Maybe. Before, so we do have some more mythical Pokemon that we kind of want to rapid fire through, but we haven't prepared for this, but I do think Eternal Flower Floette is significant and low key fits the role of a mythical. It's not literally a mythical comment section, but like it is a special one-of-a-kind Pokemon, and a version of a Floette, similar to how Diancie is like a one-of-a-kind special version of Carbink, right? And this was something that was hidden in the code. It was a Pokemon that has special moves that you did not have access to in X and Y through legitimate means. Mm-hmm. And we are going to be seeing this Pokemon in Legends ZA. To what extent, we don't know at the time of recording in September of 2025, but I do think it's cool to see that this Pokemon is actually being tied into the story of Legends ZA. Mm-hmm. It obviously has ties to the Ultimate Weapon and a lot of the plot points, AZ. It's always had its DNA rooted in the story of X and Y. We just never really saw what it could do. And in terms of a video game, right?
Right.
We couldn't capture it. We couldn't battle with it. We none of that. It just existed.
Everything that we know of it is from a data mine, and all of those stats and everything can be changed very easily because it's not officially canon. It didn't actually happen in the game. It's just the only thing that was ever canon to the game is just the presence of AZ's Floette, and now we have it again in ZA.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't even. I'm looking at these stats on Bulbapedia, assuming that they're permanent. But you're right. If this is from a data mine, that it's not official.
It's not official.
The ability, everything is not
everything about it.
I mean, hypothetically, I imagine Light of Ruin will stay, but hypothetically, that could be a different name. That could be honestly scrapped altogether. That could,
I would see them using Light of Ruin as the name, just to call back, because they know that we know.
Yeah.
That they'd just be Light of Ruin, and then, but it will not have that effect. It will not have that strength. I mean, maybe it will, but stuff like that, I would say. I also will say that I don't see it as a mythical. I see it literally as Bulbapedia says it right up there. It's just a form of Floette with this godlike flower.
That's kind
essentially.
Of
I think,
sure.
Yeah, it's not a mythical or a legendary in my opinion. I just think it's a normal Floette that when it gets that flower, then it becomes something greater. So maybe more Blood Moon or Saluna, like we were talking about.
Yeah. So we got the base form of Floette. Its base stat total is 371. I think that's correct. Yeah, 371, and so it gets. And then its Eternal Flower Floette form, it has the base stat total of 551. So what is that? That's 180,
a lot more,
or
also not confirmed.
It's a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, 180 additional.
It's only a
stat
point
points.
less than Florges.
Yeah, so that's I mean, I don't know. That's maybe it's not really a mega because it's it's a kind of unnatural. It's a different process. But I think again, if we're talking about, and science isn't the right word, but the laws of this fantasy world, I feel it's categorically something different, but probably caused by similar magic. Right?
Yeah, I could see it. We don't know. We don't know. But
yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
We'll be very surprised to see. I'd love for it to be a legendary or mythical, just because it's a whole new thing. But
something maybe this is just another data point, but I love Lumi's theory about how the past Paradox Pokemon, there's a couple of them that are Paradox forms of unevolved Pokemon, and those unevolved Pokemon would normally evolve with evolutionary stones, and that's a nice little through line. We see Eternal Flower Floette being a form of Floette, and base Floette only evolves into Florges with a shiny stone.
Yeah. And that name, Eternal Flower, it's a Paradox name, man. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. I feel that lines up with your theory.
It lines up
with the stone theory.
It lines up well. It's really more of a cool thing, I think, but I don't know if they'll actually do it, because another thing too is Eternal Flower exceeds the character limit.
But that doesn't matter. Come on,
they can Feraligatr it, and they can do Eternal Flower, and there's no E. It's FLOWR.
Listen, if we're gonna do an hour and a half of theory crafting and just drawing connections between things, and then this one fits so perfectly, and then I'm not willing to let myself not believe in this because of the in-game 12 characters that you're able to use in a that makes no sense.
That's funny.
Obviously, if it was actually a paradox form, or if it needed like a proper name, they would just give it a different name. You know,
Eternal
they could
Flower
just call it Eternal
would be
Flower.
one word, and it would be WR instead of WER, and it would fit.
Let's do it. Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's I don't know. I think there's I'm looking forward to seeing this in ZA. I guess we'll have our answers soon enough. But I love how this is like, I don't know. It fits so perfectly with all these other little things that have been introduced over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. We got a couple more mythical Pokemon that are outside of Kalos, but are still related to Kalos.
Mm-hmm. Specifically,
take it away, Lumi.
So first off, you have Victini. And some of you might immediately go, "What? How's Victini connected to Kalos?" But in the Unova games, in Black and White, when you catch Victini, you catch it in Liberty Garden, a tower in Liberty Garden, which is the Pokemon equivalent of Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, in the real world in New York City. And the thing that like a lot of people know is that the Statue of Liberty was actually gifted to the United States by France. So if you were to plug the Pokemon equivalents there, that means that the place that Victini's found in, so very possibly Victini, was gifted to Unova by Kalos. And there's a little bit more of a, albeit stretchy, tie that you can make with Victini in the anime. Go ahead.
On that point about it being a gift, I like that it's like Victini is like. Did you say this? Did I miss this? I like that it's it's Dex entry 00, or it's like number 0.
Yeah, in the Unova games.
Yeah. I think that's really nice because that also makes it feel like it is a import. Like it's not actually. I
didn't even think of that, but that is really good.
It's not actually part of the Unova Dex.
Right, it's like an honorary member. I like that.
And you do get it when it is like when you were able to get it as a mystery gift. It's like you get it right in the beginning of the game. You know?
Right.
Yeah, you literally can get it before the 3rd gem. It's like level 15.
Yeah. So just wanted to add that.
That's actually really good. I like that. But in the anime, it's not in the games, of course, but in the anime, Ash is doing this tournament in the movie that had Victini, and his Pokemon are losing, right? But Victini comes in, Victini just gives the Pokemon a little tap, and the Pokemon gets crazy powerful and was able to defeat the other Pokemon. So you can kind of compare that to Mega Evolution. It's a stretch, but you can go, well, it is a Pokemon that's able to grant power, which is what
so I've got a Dex entry here for Victini that I think confirms that it would be able to Mega Evolve.
Ooh, hit me.
Oh.
Alpha Sapphire, this is Victini. When it shares the infinity energy it creates, that being's entire body will be overflowing with power.
Oh, man. Let alone the fact that is a Dex entry from a Mega Evolution game. That's also in Y's Dex entry as well.
Oh, yeah, it is, dude. That's in Black 2 and White 2s.
Whoa.
Holy cow, dude. When it shares the infinity energy it creates, the beings... And again...
Tell me this wasn't their hint to Kalos,
Yeah, dude, it really was.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy.
Literally name dropping Infinity Energy. Has Infinity Energy ever been named in the franchise before Gen 6, other than this?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
You'd have to dig and look around.
Comments, let us know.
Yeah.
And in Black and White, the Dex entries are, again, just like leaning on the, like everything I'm going to read right now feels in line with the essence of what a Mega Evolution is, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In Black, it says, this Pokemon brings victory. It is said that trainers with Victini always win, regardless of the type of encounter. So obviously, when you have a Mega Evolution, that's your win button, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in White version, it says, it creates an unlimited supply of energy inside of its body, which it shares with those who touch it.
And we know that energy is infinity energy by its Black 2 and White 2 Dex entry. So I'm
bond with the trainer. With the trainer.
That's what I was going to say. The bond with the trainer that is necessary for Mega Evolution. Yeah. I absolutely think, dude.
Are we about to get Mega Victini?
I like this. I like this theory right now.
Are we about to get Mega Victini?
Yeah,
maybe in DLC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a cool. I mean,
I love this Pokemon. This is one of if not the most underrated mythical Pokemon.
Another rabbit, also.
Mm-hmm.
Another rabbit.
Kalos.
Yes. Yeah. The perfect rabbit.
It's got the rabbit ears.
Mm-hmm.
Free his shiny though.
Apple.
Yeah,
I do like it in the anime. I feel like I've never liked it in the game that much, but it is pretty cute.
It's pretty cute, yeah.
I also want to add
like
on
Digimon.
Yeah, it does look like a Digimon. It really does. I also want to add on that it's known that Kalos and Unova are very tied together, more than what Lumi was saying. Like, just in general, because I know we're going to talk about some other Unova-mons, I think. And it's like, it's just, Professor Sycamore's got tons of Unova stuff in his lab, and there's just, you can go on and on. There's Parfum Palace and tons of Unova connections to some war that they might have been allies in or had against each other, things like that. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's like a ton of stuff in the gardens just all throughout the games. Yeah. So there's clearly a relationship there, so it's not unreasonable to think that that GIF that played out in the real world may have played out in the Pokemon world as well. Hold on, don't mean to cut you off there. And you, the listener, I don't mean to interrupt your video, but if you're enjoying this episode, I have some really important news for you. Come a little closer. You're missing out on so much hidden power content. That's right, we actually have a secret show. The three of us, me, Dusty, and Soul, have a secret show called Secret Power. It's so aptly named, where we talk about more Pokemon and also just stuff going on in our lives, stuff that we have interest in outside of Pokemon, like Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, those kinds of things. All of this exists with over 48 hours of content, and you can access it. How do you access it, you might be asking? Just by becoming a channel member or a patron, which you can do for as little as $5 a month. We do have other tiers that can give you some other perks, but for as little as $5 a month, you will get access to Secret Power, our show, with, again, over 48 whole hours. That's 2 whole days, no sleeping, no eating, no pausing the video. There's so much. You can see the full details of the perks by clicking the links. Check it out. I'm telling you, there's so much hidden power content that you're missing out on, and I just don't want you to miss out on it. I'm doing you a solid, man. But yeah, I'll let you go back to your episode now. Again, check out the members or patrons page to get access to Secret Power.
Literally, Zekrom and Reshiram are in
so cool.
are in X and Y as statues, which is just like, what? What are you doing here? You're an ocean away,
dude. This is that's cool. That's really cool.
And I think this is kind of fun to think about when we think about how Legends Arceus did have the Hisui, or not Hisui, the Unova, what are they called? The Forces of Nature were in those games, and they like gave them a new thing. So it's not like out of question that they could do a similar thing in a Kalos game, if not Legends EA.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely on the table.
Yeah.
The other mythical Pokemon from Unova that feels related to Kalos is Keldeo.
Yeah.
What do you got in your notes?
With it, of course, you would have the Swords of Justice. So the Swords of Justice are inspired by the Three Musketeers, which are French. Keldeo is specifically this youngest member of the Musketeers that gets added. And it's pretty much a fourth Musketeer. Its name is like D'Artagnan or something. I cannot begin to pronounce it, but
I'm trying to think of their names. You can look up the Three Musketeers, and then there's always the fourth one.
It's D''Artagnan. My southern brain cannot.
His southern brain cannot.
But
it's D'Artagnan.
But is that relevant? I mean, did the names matter?
Not a ton.
It's just I'm
saying it's French. Like you can hear it in the name. You know.
Oh sure. Okay.
It is his representation of them, because the Three Musketeers, there's always them, and then there's a fourth one that's like the younger one that they like take care of, kind of thing. And it's like Keldeo. Literally the four of them.
And the thing is, like, since you've got the whole, it's obviously French. That's a French tale, so that's its tie to Kalos. With it, you would also have. It has this. Keldeo does have an alternate form. It's its resolute form. It's, in my opinion, one of the most forgettable forms in Pokemon.
No. It's better. It's better than the base form.
I think it's better. I think it's better. Just because the thing is your Pokemon doesn't change between them. Once you teach Keldeo Secret Sword, it turns into this, and it is this forever unless you delete Secret Sword. So I always forget that it even has an alternate form, Yeah,
it's kind of
a Sacred Sword? Sacred Sword?
I think it's Secret Sword, and Sacred Sword is the move
the other ones
a bunch
that
of
they
other
use.
Pokemon can learn, like Samurai.
I don't even like Keldeo, but I like its resolute form.
Yeah.
Just like,
but like So something to know here is if you look at it design-wise, this feels like if you only had Keldeo here, you'd be like, hey, drop a Mega for it. And this feels like what Game Freak would come up with.
True.
You know?
True. It does look like a Mega Keldeo.
It does not get a stat boost. Its stats don't even change between this form. This form is purely cosmetic. But, I just wanted to point out the design change is very similar. It's like, it's kind of just stated to be like, oh, it's powered up or whatever. It hasn't really. But I don't know. It's just similar in vibe to a Mega Evolution, I feel like. Also, you could connect it to like Rayquaza. Rayquaza needs to know a certain move to Mega Evolve. Keldeo needs to know a certain move to change form. So,
yeah, some of the dex entries. I mean, every time I see the word power, I'm like Mega Energy. But
yeah,
I don't think this is like overwhelmingly evident of a Mega Evolution. But its dex entry in Black 2 and White 2 says when it is resolute, its body fills with power and becomes swifter. Its jumps are then too fast to follow. Let me see,
I like the shield dex entry for ordinary form is probably like the best thing we got here.
All right, so it says
and the shield resolute form, actually, both of them.
I'll read them both. They say that Keldeo must survive harsh battles and fully develop the horn on its forehead before this Pokemon's true power will awaken.
True power will awaken. Mega Evolution.
Yeah, it's like it has to go on its like training arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, true power. Yeah, true power awakening. The power that lay hidden in its body now covers its horn, turning it into a sword that can slice through anything. Again, I mean, I guess this could just be like any sort of other form, but there are a couple keywords there. But overwhelmingly, the relation is
or awakening. That's often a term that that's used for Mega Evolution.
Yeah, and I think overwhelmingly, like the real like the reason why we're talking about this is its French connections. Debuting in Gen 5, it does feel like a reference. Sure. I could see a situation where like, in Legends EA or whatever, like it actually would have made a lot of sense if in original X and Y there was the roaming legendary birds, but then we also had the roaming swords of justice.
Yeah, they really should have shelved these Pokemon for Generation 6. Like, they shouldn't have been Unova Pokemon, because frankly X and Y needed more legendaries anyway, so it would have just made more sense if these were Kalos Pokemon,
Totally.
Yeah, but that's what Game Freak does all the time. Like, it's so typical to just, this has nothing to do with this, but let's just throw it in there anyway. Or it's what they used to do.
French Mythicals, but they're not in the France game, they're in the New York game.
Yeah,
it's just like we were talking about with Magearna. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, oh, well, they probably wanted to hit that 150 number on the Unova decks, but if they remove these 4, there still would be over 150 Pokemon in the Unova decks.
They could remove these 4 and Victini. They'd have 150.
Yeah,
they'd have, in fact, it's 156, so I think they'd have 151, which is the Gen 1 number, perfect. So you gotta,
Why?
That almost feels like more evidence. That's that's too perfect.
Why? Yeah, it's like they just added them because I don't even know. Maybe they were already thinking of a French region, but they weren't sure or something.
Of course. No, of course they were thinking of a French region.
Oh, yeah, they already had it.
It's not just these, right? Like, if you look at Unova, there's a lot of just regular Pokemon, like, Carablast and Escavalier. You've got some French stuff going on.
Yeah.
Especially
I think the mythical Pokemon are more telling because, like,
for sure,
there's Pokemon from any game from any region that's like, you're like, why is this in this region? That wouldn't make sense. That's not logical for our world. But I think the mythical Pokemon are more telling because they are, they just feel more hand selected, and because they can be from really any region.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Game Freak didn't start doing the whole like the Pokemon are like literally from the region until like Gen 7-ish anyway. And even then, even now, even in Gen 9, they didn't do it like hardcore. The only one that they did the most hardcore was Gen 8, where every Pokemon was like, it's a British Pokemon. Instead,
I mean,
the other ones, Unova, we have genies, we got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about Deoxys in the Gen 3 games, and I'm like, Deoxys is space-time travel. What are the legendaries in Sinnoh? It's space-time creatures,
Yeah. I'm just saying there weren't like
connections.
Yeah, I'm saying there wasn't like such a hard rule to be like, they have to have inspiration from the region that they're in. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yeah. They can be from whatever. I was thinking you were talking about like there was a rule that the mythical has to tease the next region.
Oh no, I don't even.
That's where I was thinking about that when you were talking.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a theory. And some of the points I think are definitely looser than other points, but this is one of those where like if you only presented this to somebody who didn't know Pokemon very well, they'd be like, "Oh, that's definitely it," you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I think building off of Keldeo, I mean, there's obviously the Swords of Justice. Did you have any more points on them? Because those Pokemon also got like paradox forms in Generation 9.
Well, I actually did write down that something interesting would be that if they ever wanted to, because Legends games are like completely different stories, right? If they ever wanted to give us a Legends game that allowed us to experience a paradox's reality, it seems like Iron Leaves, Iron Boulder, and Iron Crown are from the same one, and what's happened here is they have been turned into weapons by some evil team. You could easily go, oh, well, you know, they're Unova, maybe it was Team Plasma succeeded, it's a world where Team Plasma won, maybe, but the interesting thing is, like, the implication here is that one of three things has happened to Keldeo in this timeline, and that is, one, Keldeo never joined the Swords of Justice, and thus was, like, never raised up with them. 2, Keldeo dead, or is like one of those things.
He gone.
Or three, Keldeo's the last line of defense for the fate of the
that's the one
world.
I like to believe, right? That's the one I like. Where it's like he's the one musketeer now, right. And all of his like previous ones were turned into these machines or killed off, and then they made these machines.
Water dark to fight the now psychic type swords because he has seen too much.
Oh, it's like the villain arc.
He's evil. You know,
it's the villain arc.
No, I don't see it as that. I see him as like, he's dark. He's like, I've been through this dark past. It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, actually, like Trunks, future Trunks coming from the future because his future is so messed up where all of the good guys died and he's the last one. That's kind of how I see it.
Is the example that I thought of was of all things, I never even watched the show, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I saw like the other day there was like an article about how they're doing a movie, I think, that's supposed to be about they all were hunted down except one of them is like their last one standing. So that's also like a common trope, right? And
it's like the dystopian future where like the one guy survived and everyone else that was ever good or you know helpful or his friends they all died, and he's just like, I got to do something.
You know, it's crazy. I'm seeing all these dex entries that mentioned a legend, which isn't that crazy because these are legendary Pokemon.
They're legendary Pokemon, yeah.
When I hear legend now, I just imagine the legend series. So
yeah.
In Sword version, Cobalion's dex entry says this Pokemon appears in a legend alongside Terrakion of Virizion, fighting against humans in defense of the Unova region's Pokemon. Like, that feels like a Legends game, you know?
Yeah, I think the legend they're talking about is the Legend of the Three Musketeers. More than anything, actually, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, so, but also like
supplant us into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I know they're not teasing it. I'm just saying like that feels juicy for an actual story where it's like maybe, what's the step beyond Legends, like the combat in Legends EA? Maybe it's that like it's the synchro machine. You become the Pokemon like Trainer N, you know, and like so like we're playing the Legends Unova game where you are someone like, you know, and you have the powers of N or whatever, where you become your Pokemon to battle, and you're not telling your Pokemon where to go. You are the Pokemon moving.
You're playing as a Zoroark.
Yeah.
And so you transform as a human sometimes.
Yeah. That's the twist at the end, and like you team up with Terrakion and Virizion. I don't know. That sounds fun.
The Gen 6 dex entry makes it pretty clear that Cobalion has a heart of iron and a body and a heart of steel. They really want you to know that in Gen 6.
They say it in every
all
single
of
dex
the
entry.
dex entry. They're like, hey, just so you know, it's got a body and heart of steel.
Don't forget.
Spoken of in Legend, this Pokemon, Terrakion, used its phenomenal power to destroy a castle in an effort to protect Pokemon.
Was it the castle that Hoopa took?
Yeah. In Unovan Legend, Terrakion battled against humans in an effort to protect other Pokemon. Dude, there's a legend. What is the legend? I want to hear the story.
Legends Justice.
I kind of want to read
legend tells of a Pokemon. Yeah. Dude, so cool. Anyways, Lumi, what other Pokemon do we have?
Well, we actually have one more, and the cool thing about this Pokemon is that it is not, in fact, a Pokemon because it was scrapped.
Oh yes.
In in Pokemon X and Y, there was this scrapped Pokemon. We don't have a ton of information about it. We know two things about it for sure, and that is one, that it was a Steel and Electric type. And two, it was codenamed, I don't know how you pronounce this, but I assume because this would be in Japanese, but I assume it's pronounced Tetu, which means Steel Tower. So I imagine this Pokemon would have had some kind of relationship with Prism Tower. And that is interesting to me going into Legends EA, which, it seems, I think we all kind of are expecting the Prism Tower to play like a focal part of the story, as it's right there in the middle of the city. And we're only in the city. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
The Steel Tower Pokemon that was cut forever.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't literally be a Steel Tower, but yeah, I don't know, actually. You know
maybe
what?
it could have been Duraludon says hi.
I was just going to say
maybe
that.
It was Duraludon.
Yeah.
It could have been reworked into Duraludon for sure.
Right. It definitely could have. But yeah, because I'm like, it's not literally going to be a building, but it could be something. I don't know. Like, it could be something that resembles that. And Duraludon is literally a steel building dragon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of crazy. So what was the type you said? Dragon
Steel and Electric.
Okay, yeah.
Which works really well with Prism Tower because obviously Steel Tower, but then also it is the Electric Gym. Also Prism Tower and Lumio City. You've got the light thing going on there and electricity. You get it.
Power's out. You can't go past here.
Yeah, I like the idea of a mythical Pokemon. That's really cool, like electric and steel. But I guess I'm wondering now, like, could it instead could that like code instead be in reference to a scrapped like mechanical fight, like a simulation of a Pokemon fight? I'm thinking about all the like the fake Pokemon that function like Pokemon in the Unova region when you're doing like the plays.
I mean, I don't
There's
have
like a mecha Tyranitar
of information on it, but it apparently was found that it was a mythical. So I feel like there has to be coding that implies it's a mythical, and I don't know why they'd code a boss fight like that to be a mythical.
So I want to suggest maybe because it's electric type, maybe it's Zeraora that we later see in Generation 7.
It really has nothing to do with like a steel tower, though.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I see the electric,
Is the description that it is literally a steel tower?
The code name is Tetu, which means steel tower. And for context, code names usually are pretty spot on. Like, I remember Dreadnaught's code name is Turtle 2.
Okay.
So.
Sure.
Yeah, true.
Steel tower, yeah.
Turtle 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, they had a lot of mythicals in Gen 6, though. So it's like probably...
Gen 5 as well, too.
Yeah.
Gen 5 mostly.
Been teased before,
Yeah, the Gen 5 ones had multiple forms, and they were connected to legendaries, and
if anything,
Genesect does 4 different forms.
It might have been more reworked into Magearna.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one mythical
that might be
throughout
that might
the
be
whole
it.
thing.
Like the electric inside of it is literally the core. Like that is the energy, the soul, the artificial soul. And I think the fairy type probably makes more sense. It's like it's been given life. It's been granted life or something.
Sure. I mean, we were talking about how we thought maybe Magearna might have been planned for Kalos at one point. This could be like that little connecting dot there.
I like that. That's a good little way to round this off.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else in your note sheet?
No.
Dude, that was so good. There's so many juicy things about these mythical Pokemon. We were originally going to talk about the X, Y, and Z legends as well, but I think we're going to do a separate video for that.
Yeah.
Because, those are... I feel like there's so much to talk about when it comes to Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde.
I did have one last thing on Keldeo, though it's not huge, is that those Pokemon were given their own story, and Keldeo was even catchable in the Crown Tundra and Galar.
Sure.
So perhaps their future could lie more so in Galar than in Kalos.
Yeah, I could see that.
Totally.
Yeah, I could see that. guys, thank you so much for watching. Every single episode of Hidden Power Podcast is on our YouTube channel, also on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to support, if you're actually hungry for more content, we put out a whole podcast episode for our Patreon and YouTube channel supporters that is up right now. We put it out on Monday. Secret Power podcast episodes go out on Monday now. So if you want more content, you're at work, maybe you're on a commute, sign up. Links are in the description to support us, and you can unlock all of our bonus podcast episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Thank you.